Welcome to the Somerset County Library's Moth Podcast. Who am I, you might ask? I'm the Moth, and the host of this show. During the show, our guests tell true stories that are meaningful to them, where they learned a lesson, and maybe a lesson for you folks at home too. The speaker tells their story within 2 to 3 minutes and isn't allowed a script or notes. With that being understood, let's start the show. Our first speaker is Jordan with a story about being careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Take it away, Jordan.
Well, my story begins innocently enough. One day we were at our house, and we wanted to go on a bike ride. Dad just got home from work, and he wasn't feeling the want to go. So eventually we convinced him, and he decided we were going a little far. We were going to do the whole 3-mile loop around from one side of our house to the other. There's a story in that. So we get about, halfway, and it starts to rain. I can tell you all, I'm not going to like the next part. And, of course, my bike had to be the one that everyone wants to hear about. It started to fall. The chain started to fall apart. So I had to keep putting it on every so often. So we are going around, passing cars. Hannah's always in the lead, as usual. And we get to the main hill down the road, and no one can bike up it. So we all get off and walk up. Anyway, when we get to the top, we encounter Josh. Dad has a brief talk. It's still raining. No hope. So we start going down the road, and of course, it's still raining. It never stopped till we got home, if you're gonna ask. And we start down the dirt road, and we reach a very steep going downhill. Don't ask how that went. No one got off their bike to walk, of course. We all braked it, and some of us nearly broke. Anyway, so we were going down, and as we're going, we hear a loud boom. Try and guess what this was. Christine's tire blew up. Literally blew up. So I don't know how she got it home. I'm still going to ask her when we're done how she did this. But we got home, and we realized, don't beg your dad for stuff. You might get a little more than you want. I think we'll just leave it there.
Jeez, remind me not to go biking on that trail. But then again, I guess I don't have to worry. My legs are too short to reach the pedals of a bike. Well, thank you, Jordan. That was an interesting story. Next up, we have Lionel with a story about his rise to chess glory. Lionel, you can begin when you're ready.
Have you ever wondered how to play chess? Well, so did I. But that was before. The story started when, one day, Raymond's cousin came. So, then, I went to Raymond's house, and I saw his cousin. He also brought a chessboard. Then he taught us how to play chess. Then I soon learned how to play chess, so I started to get good at it. I started beating other people like Raymond and his sisters. So I got really good. And I even beat Katerina. And that's the end.
Check and mate. Thank you, Lionel. If you ever want to play chess, I'll make sure I'm busy that day. That's how I never lose a game. Our next fearless storyteller not only speaks in front of an audience, but sings too. Here's Lindsay and her impressive story of courage.
One day when my church was we were having a church musical, and something awful happened to me. So a couple of other people went through and were singing, and it came my turn, and the weather was not great because it was just snowing and icing. And so I decided for my pianist who was playing that she could play on the piano instead of the electric organ. So she was playing, and I started my song, and I was about on the third verse, and the power went out. So instead of quitting, I just kept going and sang and finished my song. And then the power never really came back on. But when I was thinking in my head, I'm like, things like that, and I'm glad I had a loud voice because nobody would have heard me because the mic shut off. But I was thinking like that, how God can use you in very good ways. And I'm really glad that instead of me quitting, I had the courage to keep going and finish my song so people can hear the music, and especially my dad, because music is like his way of worshiping, and it was his favorite song, and he sang it when he was like 28, and I'm like, I wanted to on the same day, so it was really special to me, and I'm glad that I continued to sing it instead of stopping.
Amazing! That's what I call courage. I like to hop on stage and sing a little tune myself. I guess I can't stay away from the spotlight. Thank you. I'll be here all night. Like, literally, because I'm nocturnal. Anyway, our next presenter is Christine. Now sit back and relax as she tells us a story of overcoming a personal fear. Christine, the floor is yours.
One day it was a beautiful day outside, and my siblings decided so that we could go on a four-wheeler ride, but I didn't want to go, so I was terrified of it. But since they went to the mud bog, and one time Lindsay wanted to bring her four-wheeler, and I decided to ride with her, I actually had some fun. So now I started to like riding on the four-wheeler, but still I have to get used to riding in the trailer. Things were fun when me and Lindsay were on the four-wheeler. I actually really don't mind getting on the back of it. It's just a trailer that terrifies the living crap out of me. Next time Lindsay goes on the four-wheeler, I'm going to try and get over the fact to ride in the trailer. It was a lot of fun riding on the back of Lindsay's four-wheeler. I hope she can do it again and go a little faster. That's it.
Thank you, Christine. You know, that reminds me of one of my fears. I'm afraid of going into my wardrobe closet, because it's full of mothballs. I said it's full of mothballs. The messed up thing about it is I'm related to some of those crickets out there. Luckily, just through marriage. Okay, our next story is about adventures with Natalie. Natalie, you can begin on the count of 3. 1, 2, 4, 5.
So we were at home watching TV when one of Mom's foster kids came. Mom went outside to talk with her. We were still watching. Then we heard that we got to dog sit for her. This was the first time I actually ever met a Rottweiler. Rocky was the Rottweiler we watched for. We watched him for 3-4 weeks. He was not very kind to my brother Jordan. Then he had to go home and I was very sad. So then we were ready to give him home, but I didn't want to watch him go. So they said they'd bring him back. They never did. So then I went on from there. Then we went to the mud bog Saturday, and I was in the monster truck, and Christine was on a bike, and she went in front of the monster truck and almost got crushed. Then Jordan stepped behind it and almost got crushed. So then we had fun. I went through the mud a few times and got all muddy. I wasn't allowed in the house. So then when we went home, we took showers, and then I went outside and read my books, my warrior books. And then we went to library yesterday, and then we came today and went and was testing.
Wow, 2 close calls with a monster truck? That reminds me of a close call I had with a bug zapper. It was a shocking experience to say the least. That was great, Natalie, and thank you. Our last speaker is Christian with a story of how he came to love Halloween. You can start when you're ready.
Alright, so I was a weird kid, very quiet, very introverted. Really only one friend that I had until Halloween rolled around. Everybody loves Halloween. Rolls around every year. But for me, Halloween is very important because my earliest memories that I have of Halloween is sitting down as a very little kid watching my dad play Left 4 Dead. Not a game I should have been watching as a kid, but I loved it. And more, as Halloween keeps rolling around, I learned more ways to just love Halloween, and Halloween taught me that it's good to be weird. Well, the more, because with me being weird, and me being, Halloween taught me, not only can I be weird, but I can also be loud. I can put myself out there, because as I grew up, more and more people were like, you're weird, but Halloween was the way that taught me to love all things weird, all things loud. My siblings and I, we used to celebrate Halloween with our own Italian mafia trades, where we would sit down in our own little corners and visit each other, going, hey, I'll give you 3 Snickers bars for 2 boxes of Nerds. Nah, I just raised the price. But you said we would have our own mafia trades, and there would always be one sibling that would always go to the youngest and say, I'll give you this Tootsie Roll if you give me every box of Nerds that you have. And the little sibling wouldn't know any better and go, okay. So, but luckily there was always that one older sibling that would say, no, that's a horrible deal. But Halloween is very important to me, and now that it's rolling around, I get to express everything weird.
That was a spooktacular story, Christian. Truly fantastic. Now I'm dying for some candy. That's okay. I'm just here for the booze anyway. Last one, I promise. Anyway, that's a good sign as any to end the show. Can we get a big round of applause for these brave kids and their amazing stories? Well, I would like to thank the audience, and I hope you enjoyed the Somerset County Library's Moth Podcast. Hopefully we'll do another one of these next summer. But with me only having a lifespan of 30 days, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Wait, that wasn't a joke. Anyway, thank you again, and have a good night, day, evening, or whenever you listen to this, and take care.